discuss some of the important concepts. Actually, I'm trying to elaborate the complete the data. So the MSMP workflow troubleshooting, but on a high level, we have prepared this slide. If possible, we'll try to share, elaborate what is each activity, what we can check in the system. That I'll try to share some information, maybe by end of this month. Okay, for a troubleshooting, in case you are getting any issue in the request, so starting from the request to submission to till the request end or auto provisioning failure, I will consider as auto provisioning failure only. There are various stages. So to troubleshoot the issue, first you need to understand the sequence of steps so that it will be very easy to troubleshoot and take appropriate action for the issue. So we'll consider the request GRC request submission. There are various stages. First, we will be able to submit the request. In case we are not able to submit the request, what level steps? First, request submission. In case of any issues on the request submission, once the request submitted, then we will check whether agents like role owner, manager, any of the owner, firefighter owner, controller, mitigation owner, any owners are missing. It was not routed to appropriate owner. We will check whether any missing agents in the access request. Request submitted, agents are identified. Then agents getting notification, missing notifications in the email or work inbox. Agents are there, but they have not received email notifications. There are some issues were there. So what are the various reasons or how we can troubleshoot the issue? So agents are identified, agents got notification. Then further stages, approver will not get options to approve the request, or approver does not have authorization to approve the GRC request. So there are two aspects. Approvers are identified, but approvers doesn't have settings, maybe that is disabled, or approver doesn't have authorization to approve the request. So we'll check what are the various conditions or various scenarios for this issue. Since request submission to till approver, probably we can consider as normal flow. We have also has a routing. There are certain conditions. The normal GRC request will route, and it will bypasses the original path and it will route for the additional path. So mainly we can consider as SOD issues probably. So what are the various reasons whether it cannot be routed properly to request? So next, once the routing request is completed, all the approvals are completed. However, the request may not provision. Like all the approvers are completed, got completed, but user is not created or role is not assigned. So what might be the scenario for auto provisioning failure? This is on a high level. First, initial tips we can say. So the initial tips we can check. Probably we can try to find out appropriate solution with these tips. I'm stopping here. Any questions? We'll go one by one.
No, Girish.
Okay. Okay. First, request to submission. Okay. During the request to submission, as soon as we were created the BRF plus initiator rule, however, when we are trying to submit the request, either issue, the request cannot be submitted. I think we have selected the critical value, right? We have a open value. We'll try. Okay, we'll remove this. So okay, I have removed particular path. So that is, if in case role priority is low, we have not defined any particular path. So let me try to submit the request. Actually, you will get 002 workflow error. So I want that error. Mostly you will get that error during the request to submission. I'll submit few details before. Okay. So I think we have a data low level. Oh, yeah. Okay, this is a role which is priority level is low. So we have not maintained any path for this. As soon as so 001 cannot resolve a path. And please check route mapping. Request submission failed, MSMP submission method. Mostly will get error 001 resulted to cannot resolve a path. This is the initial error when you are not able to submit the request. That means mostly you have initiator problem. Your decision table, not only initiator, not only decision table, like see the other condition which we have scenario, we have explained employee type. So since employee type is not mandatory, we have not selected any value. Maybe that is also one of the reason. And also another scenario, company code. Even though the value was maintained in the decision table. However, we have not feed that value as a input for request submission. So that is the reason, because our scenario is based on the role criticality level. That is, I have removed decision table. So either missing a trigger value or mandatory fields. We need to check what are the initiator trigger condition and what are the fields in the access request in the BRF class. We need to check what are the main request inputs, so that we will try to identify the issue because of initiator problem. And also, if everything is fine, probably there might be RFC issue also. So that is a different, maybe error in RFC or some different error. Probably first three conditions might be, we need to check the decision table and mandatory inputs which needs to be feed during the request submission. If you are not able to do it, then you will get this error. Any questions?
Girish, you're telling 002 error, but it's 001, correct?
No, whatever it may be. Not 002, 001. It's my bad. So as soon as you are getting this error, some of the mandatory inputs you are not feeded, or the request initiator rule was not properly configured in the system. So if the same way, I'm just removing. Okay, same request, same GRC system, it will work for this. Already open request. Yes.
Girish, there is any parameter to make this validation if request is already exist for this ID?
Yeah. One minute. So this is another error. Let me close the. Let me refresh access request. So this role is criticality high. Value mandatory. the request submitted successfully, because the decision table we have defined a decision table for high value for ECC system, but we have not maintained any value for low level. So this is how we can troubleshoot. We can feed the value, we can validate the mandatory fields, and as well as validate the decision table values. And these two might be additional reasons during the upgrade you may face. Whenever you upgrade your system, you will get insert error or insert error records. So there what you have to do, based on that error, you might need maintain GRC GRAC test. This is from GRC 10 to 10.1. After 10.1 to 12 also. This objects, during the objects, GRAC and GRC, these two objects will be deleted and manually you will maintain. After upgrade, since there is no Y or G value starts with these two factors, so every time after upgrade, you make sure that you need to check GRAC and GRC, these objects needs to be created. Just a long test. Otherwise, you will get error in insert records. Even number range value also. Error in insert record, you will get error. But these two are exceptional. If you maintain number range, probably you won't get it as a part of provisioning, user provisioning concept like a post installation tasks. But this SE75 values maintenance is you may face mainly on upgrade. The rest of that you won't get it, that error. But it stops you to submit the request. It will throw the error like error in insert records.
So Grish, so you have to go back to the last thing. So you have to maintain GRAC. Go back. So you have to maintain GRAC and GRC, correct? Or GRAC text also.
Okay,
GRAC,
GRC. These two only, not this one. Only these two.
So that basically you go create the object, right? Go on the top text object, create, right? Okay.
See, there is a separate note. During the upgrade, you will not able to submit request in error in insert record. There, it can teach you the step-by-step process. You need to update GRAC and GRC in this format. Update TA value, everything, the line width, everything it will mention. All just you need to create and you can maintain the values. But the error is error in insert records.
You can put that screenshot here, maybe 18 slides, you can put that screenshot.
What is the note number, Girish?
Sorry?
What is the note number?
Let me check, because I'm elaborating all these with the screenshots probably. That is the reason. I will share some information. Maybe just give me 1 month time, because I need to go each and every screenshot, like each scenario, right? I need to prepare the documentation. If possible, I will insert note numbers as well. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, because this troubleshooting will help you in your support and as well as the complete environment, implementation environments. So I'll try to elaborate. Subha suggested me, so I started working, but it will take some time. Each scenario I need to elaborate and I need to give as much as I try to give some information.
That will really help. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Once once the request got um, submitted. Okay, we have crossed all these issues. Once the request got submitted, then maybe we were not able to identify the agents. Okay, as soon as you were not able to identify agents, probably we need to check the audit log and the set of post installation steps. You may remember we have a standard document. Even I have forwarded, there are a couple of transactions where we need to activate the complete steps. Like SWU3, we need to make sure that everything should be green. Then we need to map, assign agents and event linkages. All these activities must be completed with respect to access control.
Girish, I have a question for you. If you go to the previous page, stop here. For 10, 10.1 and 12, the number is same. They didn't change anything here, correct?
Yes, it won't change.
Okay, yeah. It's fine. That's why I'm confused because
it's a standard workflow tasks. It won't change anything. But sometimes what will happen, I don't know reason, but we have faced one of the issue. Somehow the workflow got deactivated. We have not checked the troubleshooting, but somehow this web service got workflow tasks got deactivated. There might be any reason. Maybe somebody has manually deactivated, or somebody has unknowingly maybe touched this workflow part. Probably.
Oh, you mean after you activate and sometimes it is deactivated automatically, correct?
Yeah. That was our observation, because as soon as the request got submitted, but it will throw the error in request, and it won't show any IDs, like any approver names. So that you need to make sure that you have to activate you have to recheck what is the issue. Make sure that this workflow templates and standard templates, everything will be activated or not. Okay, we'll see. 1 minute. We won't touch access request, but let me what I will do. See what is function workflow 763084.
I think this is a workflow, correct?
Yeah, sorry, workflow template. So here what we will do, additional data, event assignments. Okay, this is a function workflow. Let me activate function workflow. I think since it is a standard, so even we can cover standard agents, function approvers. Since it is a standard, it won't assign any agents. So we need to map function approver. Anyone can approve. Save. maintain root mapping. Everything will be same.
So, Grish, functional approver, you do it in NWBC?
No, I'm coming to that page. Function approver basically with a role. Okay, it's not NWBC.
You have to assign a dummy role to it, a dummy role.
No. It's a standard role. GRAC function underscore approver. I'm just checking whether any function approver role were assigned to me. So this is GRC function approver. Okay. Yeah, it has a list of users. So ultimately, whenever we trigger the workflow, it has to go to any one of the user. Sorry, all the users, but any one of the approver will approve. It has to approve the request. So right now, what I have done, I have deactivated the function workflow. I need a run. I'm in setup, function, create. Oh, God. Sorry. 1 minute. I have done some steps. So since we are activating, we have to this function approver request. Okay.
16.
So this is already active. Parameters. Okay. Function maintenance. Since I am converting function maintenance to approvers. First then I'm activating function workflow. Create function, update function,
Delete function.
delete function, but I need to maintain the IDs. Okay, 15, 16, 17 request numbers. So I'm mapping 15, 16, 17. Okay. So first what I did, I have enabled function maintenance workflow so that it can avoid save. So the new any new requests or any new function changes, ultimately it needs to trigger to workflow. So I have enabled workflow. Then I have checked whether the request types, the function request type which are related to whether it is active or not. So that is already active. So I have maintained parameters. Now
Basically, Grish, when you put 1064, it will be convert from save to submit, correct?
Submit. Yes, save to submit. Yeah. So now create. So submit. Now add a new basis and test. Then add ACC recipe R2. Okay, any of the action, maybe can do VA01. automatically.
Girish,
Hmm.
so in the work in the MSMP, while we are maintaining the agents for the function, in the stage it will be role. The role we will put the role there and miss that part.
Okay.
The
Okay.
function approval
Just
role we need to put.
just 1 minute. Let me submit this.
Okay.
I need error, then we'll back. Okay. So first request submitted successfully. There is no issue. Okay. Search request. So request is run. Okay. Instant status. Ah, why it is? Okay. I need to check that. I have deactivated, but still working. Ideally, it should not work. Here you will get an error status. Then you will not get any of the approver names. So that is what the scenario. You need to recheck all the activities which needs to be completed. I have selected the function rate 76308. Mm, hmm. What is the difference? Okay, I will check this. Try to capture some screenshot, but here you will not be able to see any of the approval. You will get path status is error. So that screenshot probably I will capture. I need to recheck this. So in such a scenario, you need to activate all, you need to perform all these tasks, everything. You need to recheck all the activities so that the approval will go to appropriate approver. Otherwise, it will throw error. Then you need to make sure that you can check based on the audit log. You have to complete all PFTC, SWU3, SWDD, SWE2, all the access control related steps. And also, you need to check any maybe SLG1 or workflow configuration, even dumps, ST22, any dumps for a troubleshooting, and even WF batch user authorization. Once you have maintained everything, but WF batch user authorization might not there, so you need to make sure that it should be assigned SAP all or relevant SAP all authorizations. SAP all cannot assign sometimes. They will copy from profile and they will create an appropriate elevated access role that will assign to WF batch user. So if workflow is not triggered to agents, make sure that the WF this authorization should be assigned to WF batch user and whatever the RFC we are using. So that RFC user should assign this. And in case any that particular system related any RFC issues would be there, so that you need to check. And we will assign to RFC user SAP underscore GRC underscore all authorization. Overall, you need to recheck all the post installation steps. If not, you have a transaction, right? grfnmw dbg monitor underscore wd. So this is a troubleshooting transaction code. You can re-verify what is the exact issue as a troubleshoot. Okay. Now, question to you. Your question, Adhiraj.
Yeah.
Okay. So function approver, basically function approver and manager won't exist in access control owners. Okay. So
True.
there is a standard role in the system, GRC standard role, but generally we will copy and we will make custom. While in the customer environments, there is a standard role. Whoever assigned this role, all the people will get the notification for function. Function is out of scope from the access control. Whoever assigned this role, this the whatever approver, irrespective of module, it will assign. Maybe in case you want to change it, you can create a custom agent based on the business process. Maybe you can map the approvers, like how we can create agent, right? Similarly, you can create based on the business process. But for standard perspective, it will trigger to function approval. Whoever assigned this role, automatically they will get the notification.
Okay.
So, any questions? But generally, in case of any issues, your request will not trigger. It will stop a particular. It will trigger manager, but you will not able to find any of the approval, and you will get status path. Status is error.
Girish, if the error is showing here, then how do you know the problem with that particular workflow template?
See, this is you are configuring or you are facing some issue, right? With respect to some process ID.
Based on that one, we need to
Yeah.
check the workflow template.
Yes.
Okay.
Right now, which workflow we are facing issue. Based on that, we'll check the workflow template and the standard task for the template. Function related standard task for the template, and also this one, SWE2. So the event linkages, whether the type of linkages were mapped or not, we need to check that.
Girish, can I ask you something else? Because you know the document you are showing, this is for 10 and 10.1, correct? Basically,
No,
this is even not 10.1. This is 10. But do you have the similar document for 12?
No.
Or
SAP has not released this one.
Okay.
Post installation steps
because
is common.
Yeah. Because I configure, I think 3 times for 10 and 2 times for 10.1, but I didn't get a chance for 12. When I check that one, it looks like is nothing changed.
No, nothing.
As far as this configuration.
Nothing changed. These are all, everything will be standard. There is, SAP has not touched the core concept, any of the module. The concept is same.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, once a request is submitted and agents, maybe after performing the post steps, the request went to approver. Okay, now we were able to see the approvers. So approver inbox, whether okay, I have. So as a approver, we will get the work inbox. Okay, as soon as the request is submitted, even we were not getting any of the request to work in box. So in this situation, first you need to check email and as well as work inbox both. Work inbox mainly for authorization issue, but email notifications, first you need to check Scott, whether Scott has any restriction. So here you can maintain appropriate emails. Ideally it should be stopped. If not, any maybe any address, particular address, only very few people are very some team, only teams were maintained. Because of that reason, approver will not get the notification. And another one, SWU3. SWU3, so WF batch user should have email. Whatever the WF batch user must contain email, even though it is dummy user or dummy email. So WF batch user should contain email. Then only notifications will send the notifications to users. Here it was not maintained, but customer environment, at least GRC admin at the abc.com, at least dummy email you need to maintain. Then only it will send the email notifications to approver. Also you need to check SOST. In this SOST transaction code, WF batch user has maintained email, but approver, like the self user ID, approver, either admin or the role owner has not maintained any email ID. You need to check that. In the SOST, first it will send the notifications. All the notifications, first it will comes to SOST. Here you just refresh. In the send status, you can select the transmitted, refresh, then it will give you the green, red, orange, everything status. Maybe some reason, because of spool, it was not sent the notifications, or whether the notification has not received in SOST. If the notification is not in SOST, probably we need to check whether the approver or WF batch user doesn't have a email ID. Okay. Also, there is another reason, probably you have observed or not, I don't know, but there is a parameter 1113. So all the emails will send this so 1113. So this is basically we will maintain WF batch, but you need to make sure the recent implementations, this is SAP underscore WF RBT something, new user. So it should not a WF batch. So the new user, SAP has introduced a new user for embedded system like S4HANA. In the same S4HANA GRC support pack additionally added, then the user will change. It starts with SAP, not WF batch user. So make sure that that user will maintain here. Don't worry, you will get that information in SWU3. Here the configuration, there it will give you the username, either a WF badge or the latest user. Here it will give, and it will create WF batch user or the other whatever SAP underscore RFLCT something, that user will create automatically, and it will create self RFC, logical RFC within the system. Okay, you just need to check this SAP SWU3 what is the user ID, so that you will maintain in 1113 parameter. So this will send email notifications to all the users.
Alright guys, then yeah, already. We'll talk to you guys Monday then. Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Take your look out.
Definitely. Hey, yeah, I hope so, because my cane's gotten very.
So this is the email sender. So make sure that you need to check if any email notifications issue. Make sure that what is the user which is maintained in 1113. And if a particular stage email notifications are not sending, so right now we have configured function workflow, but in the modification task settings we have not mapped any of the in the notification settings we have not added any of the notification events. So this is also one of the reason might be approvers will not get the notification. And even global stage, if users are not receiving or whatever the requests were not submitted properly, so we need to check on particular workflow. We have not whether we have maintained a notification events in this respective workflow. And any approver delegation, suppose approver A delegated to approver B, because of that reason approver A has not received any email notifications or work inbox. Maybe approver B, it will, because of the delegation, it will send to approver B notification. So you need to make sure that you will check the active delegations in the system. Maybe by mistake they will send for a week, maybe they can send for they scheduled for 10 days. So because of this reason it will send the notification to the delegated approver. That is also one of the reasons. So by considering all these, you can go step by step whether the Scott, the WF batch user, SOST, whether the approver has not maintained any email, whether the WF batch, whether the notification parameter, whether the notification events were maintained in the workflow. And also sometimes there is a variable approve via email in the notification settings. The approver variable link was not maintained properly in the email notifications. Because of that reason also they are not getting any emails, and they can click it, they are not able to go to work inbox. Any questions?
Where is this approve variable link? We can put this in the notification setting itself?
Notification variables. We will put in the notifications. No?
Okay.
See. Will insert in the notification any of the new work item, any of the new the notification. As soon as the approver will click on this link, then automatically it will divert to work inbox. Okay, sometimes this variable percentage you are not maintained properly. Maybe this will not work properly. That is also one of the reasons.
Okay.
Girish, this is Srikanth. So actually, I was checking the configuration in my company, but none of the notification tab was, updated. Just empty for every workflow process. Is there any other way that they get notified the users?
Meaning, none of the approval.
Meaning, like if you go to notification, right? That notification, if you go back, right? So it's empty for us. Every workflow I'm just checking. The notification settings. This is empty. Every MSM workflow. So
maybe they can set for. Okay, can you check here? Global notification request submission. Here the current approvers.
Okay.
So because of this, only the first stage manager will get notification. Only first stage is fine. But after the second stage, I don't think so. Or they might be hard-coded any email triggers. We need to check in the system, then only will be. Only first stage we can send for current approvers after request submission. But until unless we will not maintain any notifications, probably they will use a different mechanism to send the notifications.
Okay. Maybe it's pulling from LDAP and then going from there, from the request.
Maybe.
Right?
There is some customization.
Definitely. Okay.
Like this, you can troubleshoot whether approver has not received any email notifications. You need to consider all these trial and error methods. Probably you can check. You can try to fix the solution. See, the approver delegation anyway, this will exist in admin delegations. As admin delegations, we can see everything.
Okay. And Girish, I just had the varied issue actually we have. So one user has created the GRC request. I see the request number, but nothing in the system. What could be the reason? No emails are triggered.
See, request submitted, then?
Yeah, I see in NWBC screen the request number. When I go back to the system, I don't see that request number in any way, and also nothing was triggered. In that situation, what do we do, Girish?
Request is submitted, but there is no approval path, you are saying?
No, what I'm saying was in NWBC, when I create a request, right, Girish, and it pops up, right, the request was submitted, the number you see it, right, 1, 2, 3, right? After that, we have generally go back, so check the request status, right? And you go to search request number and look for the request number.
See, there are some request types like cutover or something, okay? It's a normal request you're talking about?
It's normal request only, yeah. You can create new request. It happened twice to me, but what I got from it, because at the time the risk analysis were running heavily, that's why the request not generated. That was the answer I got, but I don't know. Is it right or?
No, you will see as soon as your request completed. If any LDAP issue or risk analysis performing the risk analysis, the request cannot be submitted. Still, it is running, right?
So it's a weird situation. I don't know why it's happened. Yeah.
There is a system, at least request submitted, but you need to check as soon as you, okay, try to check whether you have submitted the request, right? Try to check in the request
Yeah,
status.
that's what I did. I went to switch request number. I couldn't find it. And after some time, when I request again the same user, system generated the
That
request
is
number
generally for
and
MOS
workflow got
users.
triggered.
See, that is for MOS users. Maybe sometimes it
No,
will
one
happen.
user.
But
One user
serial
only.
user, I don't think so. For MOS users like 30-40 users, it will take some time to update in the search request. But for one user, I don't think so. It won't display. See, if the request is not displayed, means there are so many reasons. Might be some special request types only very few people have access, like cutover or something. Even you can submit, but you will not be able to see the approvers based on your authorization. And this is
That is different.
very rare case. Maybe mass requests, it may take some time to complete the risk analysis and update the data. But for one user, I have not faced this issue.
I see. Okay,
See,
that's fine.
if any issues were there during still risk analysis is performing, then request won't submit, no?
Yeah, so that's correct. Yeah, maybe it's a weird situation. Maybe. Yeah, I still have the screenshot with me, so that's okay. Yeah, I do open SAP OSS message, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Once we have completed the work inbox, the request will be now available for approvers. So as soon as a request will see, then probably see here. I don't know whether we can hold it, but see, I'm not able to find some hold option. So that might be settings or authorization, modify task settings. Approvers sometimes they may not able to approve the request, or they were not able to find the options. In such a case, you need to check the task settings, whether the options were enabled or there is a limitation on that particular workflow. Because for log or access request, I'm able to find a hold option, but right now I'm in function workflow. I don't have a hold option. So like this, if any issues were encountered during the approvers, make sure that you need to check the appropriate configuration and appropriate access for the approvers. And also any delegation, approver delegation. See, the approver delegated to some other approver, but he is not a function approver. Right now, in my working box, I have a request for function approver. But I have a similar designation, my backup approver, I have delegated, but he is not a function approver. So make sure that he is not a function approver. Even though I am forwarding, he cannot approve. Sure that the delegated approver also should be in the same set of access. And sometimes if in case mitigation master data or anything, so make sure that you need to map the organization, the approvers, then only they will be able to approve the request. Sometimes maybe a different region or within the region, I can identify the approver, but the approver were not mapped to particular organization. He has everything, access and everything, but the limitation is for mitigation control. He has not mapped to organization and as well as the control. so he cannot approve the request. So this issue one time we have faced. The delegated one approver, he has the same set of authorization, he has a backup approver, but he has a different organization. He has not same set of organization. So because of the audit compliance, we asked him to, later we have submitted the change request and we have mapped to organization, then we request him to approve the request. And the owner should active in the GRC system and access control owners. He should maintain the access control owners. So mainly authorization issues or task settings are delegated or same set of authorizations. You can check in case approver has raised concern like he is facing some issues. Any questions on this approver authorization issue? So now routing.
Girish,
Yes.
one question now. You were discussing about there are some request type in which you can only raise the request number. Something you were telling what is that for cutover and all?
Okay, you can create some request types. Okay, that is for only very few ITT with respect to ITT. Suppose if you have created a new thing. Okay, 23 cutover. Okay, cutover is not required for end users, right?
Correct.
So during the access, whatever the role, right? GRAC access request or the object GRAC underscore access, GRAC underscore request type, REQ type, there is authorization object. So for end users, you can provide all the access. Only create new account and like only till.
Understood.
But 23, you can skip whatever the GRC SME and security SME. Probably only these two teams. You can add this request so that they will be able to visible because of the authorization control.
Correct. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay, now routing request. Routing request is like we need to check the complete workflow on what stage and what path it was routed, on what condition it was routed, whether like I have maintained here for critical because our initiator rule is high level and critical. So because of that, I have maintained here. So based on the request type, based on the initiate trigger, based on certain conditions, you can divert it. And what conditions it was diverted, you need to make sure that. And routing, sometimes they will maintain settings line item level. If the line item level, then the workflow also will change. Each line item level it will divert. The main drawback you will observe is mitigation controls. If you set stage level, instead of stage level, you set line item level, the workflow settings. Sometimes whatever the risk role, it will escape. Without mitigation, it will approve the request. So in this critical path, I think hold on, right? See, sometimes we have not enabled anything. So this is the stage level. This is stage level. Also, we have a line item level. Sometimes some companies, what they will do, they will maintain it line item level. With this line item level, there might be a 2-3 roles were submitted. There is a possibility sometimes it will consider first 2-3 line items based on the line, based on the business process, or based on any of the particular condition. Like the first role might doesn't have a SOD, it will automatically bypass to, it will skips the, and it will goes to approve the request. It will not consider the third line item. Understanding? So in the request 3 line items, sometimes if you set line item level, it may consider the first line item. It doesn't have SOD, so it will goes to original path. It won't skip for SOD. So because of this reason, always you need to maintain it stage level. So it will verifies all the line items. In case of any SOD exists in the request level, then it will divert to normal path to SOD path. So make sure that in the customer environment.
Great. One question. Line item level, okay, routing level, stage level, or line item. So at line item level, so suppose I have selected 5 rows, 2 rows causing SOD conflicts and 3 rows not causing the SOD conflicts. So for rows which are not causing any SOD conflicts, that will go for the role approval, and SOD will go to the SOD approval. Is that happen or what?
Yes. Ideally it should happen, but sometimes it won't. Sometimes without SOD it will approve. So you need to make sure, you know, some role that is elevated access, ideally it should comes to SOD approval. So if it is not happening means, then make sure that your workflow task settings has to be changed. There is something wrong, right? Definitely. Until unless we will not give direction, it won't go appropriate, right?
So what is the best practice actually normally organization follow at
stage level? Stage level.
And if in case we select line item level, do we need to consider some other setting in workflow?
No, you need to make sure that is working. There are some other conditions you need to maintain. You need to check appropriate settings in the provisioning, right? See, if it is if you are selected line item level, make sure that your provisioning settings has to be changed to each path. If it is still end of the request, the line item, first line item, it will check and probably the request will approve. So you need to make sure that each path, you need to change your setting.
Okay, at stage level, that what we will select auto provisioning at the end of
the end of the request. For line item level, it should be each end of the path.
Okay. And we need to create for every stage, I mean every path we need to create some additional path as well then, right? I mean request should be end somewhere.
No, that request automatically it will go. It will text line item level, and each request it will bypass, and it will automatically, whatever the request which is not SOD, it will automatically provision to user. Whatever SOD, it will bypass and it will goes to SOD approver. Once the SOD approver will, the roles will approve. Sorry, the request will be completed. The same request will split if it is a line item level and each end of path. It won't dependent for the complete roles, 5 roles to be approved.
Okay, so suppose Greece, then line item level, suppose non-SOD rows get approved and it will also get provisioned, right? And if
Yes.
it is SOD is not approved, then
Yes.
the request is partially get approved and it will be in same status.
Yes.
I mean, is that happen, right? Huh?
Yes. That will happen.
Ah, okay, okay.
But it will be very difficult to track the request, whether who has approved, who has not approved. So that is the reason generally won't prefer line item and as well as each workflow path request. And also,
Okay.
any system. Suppose you have 5 systems, okay, but one of the system, your expectation is the system needs to route for SOD approval. Make sure that the system was configured in the SOD logical system. See, you have only 4 configured as a SOD, but your expectation is the additional new onboarded system also should get SOD checks and it route for the SOD approval. So you need to make sure that you can check your expected system work in the SOD logical group. Then only it will perform the risk analysis. Once the generate the rule IDs will be generated, then only it will perform the risk analysis. Then it will route for the SOD approval. Otherwise, it will basically you will get notifications like no rules were selected, like this message will be there. If no rules were selected in the message pop up on the risk analysis, that system were not included in the SOD logical group. So you need to recheck your configuration also. And the agent, generally we will do for mitigations, right? So the appropriate mitigation agent is active and appropriate roles were and appropriate conditions, like based on business process, based on company code, based on any of the other region specific. Make sure that you have diverted SOD, but the agent approver rule might be configured properly. You need to check that routing request so that it will goes to appropriate. Generally, why I have mentioned mitigation means mainly we will divert for SOD, even based on development, production. You can divert for different configurations also routing. But in general, customer environment we will use for mitigation purpose. So any questions on routing? Okay, once request submitted, identified agents, sending notifications, approved request and routed, and requests got routed. Now,
No, Grish, actually in routing request, what kind of issue we can expect, right? Like, and how we will identify it is issue or not? I mean, what kind of things will error come?
see, if your expectation is like systems needs to be routed, but that system were not SOD, and some of the roles based on the criticality level or based on the role, it should be SOD and it should be for SOD approval, right? But
Right, yeah.
the request does not routed for SOD. So you need to make sure that what is the issue, whether the role was not whether the role it is an issue with the role, whether it is an issue with the system, whether it is issue with the configuration. You need to make sure that everything you can check. There might be so many reasons, right?
Okay.
So why I have mentioned specifically for this, only we will check mainly on SOD. So that is the reason I have mentioned SOD. So once the request is approved, then request approved, that is fine. If request does not approve or request approved but does not perform any of the action, make sure that you need to check. That is considered as auto provisioning failure. If it is auto provisioning failure, might be RFC, system issue, the system got down. Because of system.
Mainly, Girish, the issue what I see, the role you create, right, the business role, the provisioning is set to no, then only that is the main issue, I think, right, Girish?
Yeah, that
That is the main. Yeah, that is the one issue we see that most of the time it is affairs. No, so this is what happens. Yeah.
You need to make sure that provisioning allowed, allow provisioning, it should be S.
This is critical. Yeah.
You need to make sure that the properties of role import file not properly means the role import provisioning allowed, allow auto provisioning should be yes. You need to make sure that role should be assigned. Yes.
Also, the role exit should be yes, correct?
Yeah, that is through sync job. If the role is exist, then only it will be available for provisioning. Okay, that is a different issue.
Yes.
So now role is available, role is approved. Okay. If the role does not display in the request, then you need to make sure that you can run the sync job till role should be exist. This will comes with the sync job. So now that issue is resolved. Now we are able to approvals, everything completed, but it is not provisioned. It is not assigned to user. In this scenario, you need to make sure that provisioning
provisioning allowed should be yes. Yeah. Okay.
This is one thing. Second one, provisioning effective immediately. You need to make sure this immediately it should be provisioned. You need to check the settings in the user provisioning. Hare Krishna. This is user provisioning settings. So here global provisioning immediately. Provisioning effective immediately.
So Girish, is there any possibility that system creates the user ID one system and other not another system?
That might be RFC issue.
Just RFC.
That
only
might
RFC
be
issue,
RFC
right?
issue. I'm coming to see RFC issue and the RFC authorization. RFC authorization means whatever the SM59 that particular user were maintained, that user doesn't have a S_user_grp authorization, so that it will not, like, basically it doesn't have a SU01 all the authorizations, S_user_grp,
got it.
AGR. So that lack of security authorizations. Make sure that whatever the RFC connection we are maintaining the user, that should appropriate security authorization. Whatever the user administration and role administration activities, ideally it should have access. What is our ECC? ECCC LND.
Girish, it should be always RFC ABAP connection, right, Girish?
No, for SAP systems, it should be ABAP connection.
Not the logical, right?
No, not the logical. Logical is, but you are trying to manage, you are trying to configure something. Then you will create a logical. If it is SAP system, ideally it should be connection 3. If it is external portal or any other systems, then it should be G, HTTP connection. Yeah, that depends.
So for HANA, we have to have the logical connection, right?
Yes.
HANA.
Yeah.
HANA DB.
Yep.
Okay. And here you put that trusted relationship is no, right? Girish, because RFC, the user, so basically the user ID is writing everything in SC01. Right, Girish?
Yes.
Okay.
So for that, only S_RFC and S_RFC ACL should be required if it is trusted relation apps. So every user should require that access. S_RFC and S_RFC ACL. So this user should be exist security authorization. So because of you may get SLG1 log, the provisioning log you can observe, maybe it will say user does not have authorization to assign the roles or to create the user because of RFC issue, not WF batch user. You need to check SM59, that particular user, what is the user ID. Based on that, you need to assign the authorizations. Generally, user, sometimes if you configured user defaults, the user groups were not exist. You have created some user groups in ECC, but that user groups will not maintain in the system. So that because of that, you are not authorized to create the users to respective user group. That issue also there. So you need to make sure that you need to consider the complete authorization. And
I want hold on, Girish. I just want to put one point over in the RFC thing, right? So the scenario what I had was right. So let us say I am the manager and I'm trying to submit request for my user. Okay, so let us say the user exists in the role exists in for 5 systems through 2 systems, for example. Okay, the role exists in 2 systems. So if the user did not have access to one system, the manager, it's not working out, Girish. Meaning like let's say the role should have, that's what I'm explaining, right? Let's the role is there in system 1 and system 2, but the manager user is not there in 2 systems. Let's say it is in 1 system.
No. See, the manager user should exist only GRC. It doesn't have any responsibility.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So no,
it doesn't
that's
have
what
any responsible for
that's
backend systems. Only the manager ID should be exist in GRC system. Then only it will proceed. Allow them to submit the request.
Right. So this is what happening, Girish. So that's what I was asking the question to you, right? We just use that, one system. I mean, logical connection or ABAP connection?
No. That depends. See, maybe the other system RFC connection might be issue because of that you are not able to submit. That is a different reason. Okay. But it will check, it will validate the approver. If it is respective to manager, then it will validate GRC system whether the user is active, created in the GRC system, whether it is active. then only it will allow to submit the request. Otherwise, it will not. Access issue is different. Even you can create a user and assign a dummy role. That is not a problem. But manager should active in the GRC system.
No, Kirish. Yeah, I agree with you. So if it is of trusted, non-trusted, if it is of trusted, for example, right, in the ABAP connection, right, if you have user ID, what system does is system checks, all the systems. That's what happening to me, the scenario, right? So when I go back and in the same logical connection, if I put that RFC user, it works. Technically, you don't have to.
No, that's
but
what I'm saying.
if you
see the RFC, S_RFC and S_RFC authorizations, if you have, then you will be able to submit the request. If it is a trusted. Okay, if it is non-trusted, the RFC user should create and maintain in the SM15, and it has a sufficient authorization for provisioning, but not submitting it won't any impact.
Okay, let me explain you my scenario, Girish. That's what I was asking. The manager is right. That's what I was trying to explain. So let's say the RFC connection is trusted. Not maintaining the user ID and password, that has to pass through when whoever submit the request in target, right? If the user ID does not exist, the manager user ID does not exist in both the systems, system won't create the GRC request number after submitting the request. But if you maintain the RFC ID, even if it's trusted, it works. If you go back to the screen, SM59 screen.
Okay.
So here, right, let's say you go to the change button, on top red pencil, Let's say if you put S, right, let's say if you put S. Change it to, no, I don't know if you have password or not.
No,
so
I don't have password.
You don't, okay. So what's going to happen is if you put S right here, Girish, okay, you don't have to enter the username and password. That means when the request is submitted,
that I understood,
system,
you can make it current user. So the current user should say S_RFC and S_RFC async. That is sufficient.
Oh, okay. This is what I have, so Girish, in my implementation.
If you have trusted relationship, make sure that this current user should be selected in the RFC.
Even we did not select that. That's what I was trying to explain. This is a scenario we have. So I did not select the current user, right? I just selected trusted relationship, yes, right? So by theory, yes, system should check that in the target system whether your ID is there because it's trusted, right?
No.
That is the scenario.
See, you need to feed the data now. Who is checking the user? That is the reason mostly you will always select the current user. I don't know like what strategy you are following basis team, but ideally it should be selected current user.
Yeah. So actually that is a gap from SAP. I can say that. So we have implemented some vulnerability patches. Then we started checking those things, Girish.
Okay.
Yeah. This is it's a whole act. It's a gap in So we have the tool, right? We use some tool, to run the vulnerability on ABAP servers. So this is what happening to us right now. That's what I was trying to explain. That scenario, one more scenario here.
Okay.
Yeah.
That I understood. Okay.
Girish, what did you explain right now about the user default? About user defaults and user group?
Okay. See, there is a auto mechanism. Okay. Auto assignment of user groups. Okay. Even you have a facility to create user group automatically assigned to users. Okay. You can configure in the system. So if you configure the system, whatever the backend RFC backend user groups, you need to collect it and you can maintain in the GRC system. Okay, the user groups, you need to create a default IDs, user groups, everything. Once you configure, you need to enable BRF-less application. Completed, then it will automatically assign the user groups in the backend system. Otherwise, you need to assign the user groups manually in the backend system, right? To avoid such conditions, you can configure in the GRC system. But
VRF plus means what process ID or something will follow?
we have a functional mapping ID. Here, this user default, the standard functional ID. This will be there. So,
After this,
sorry.
how will we go ahead? Like, what is the thing?
Okay, I will. That is a different concept. That is a big concept. I will share one blog for this.
Okay.
That's a complete step-by-step process. We'll share that document.
Okay.
Application mapping automatically come, right, Grish? And when system is ready after post installation?
Yeah, you need to activate one busy set, then it will display. But this application should exist in the system. If not, there is a process. You need to upload the data or export the data from 000 client. If not, you need to reach out to SAP to get the applications. See, these applications will be there, but whether this application will be exist in the BRF list, that you need to check that. It's a complete different process.
Even then, if it is not populated, then we need to follow another approach.
Yes.
Client, copy from the 000 or some other, right?
Yes, the same name. You need to export the data from 000 client to this particular client. If still 000 client also the data is not available, the application, you need to reach out to SAP. SAP will provide the files, XML files. Then you can import into the system. There is a big process.
Okay, Grish, if you have any notes or something blocked, then please share on that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yes, what is the use of this? Where do we use it?
See, you
this application mapping BRF.
Okay, see, the standard standard process ID is only one initiator global, right? Supporting activities, like as of now we configured only provisioning users, but in case of any user group assignment, any mitigation policy, like mitigation policy matlab, only high level risks only consider, or as soon as you perform the risk analysis, the role may consist low level, high level, medium, critical level risks, right? But if you enable this policy, you are skipping. You can configure in BRF plus level. You can skip critical and high level only. You can consider. Rest of the medium and low level, it won't populate, even though the risks exist in the GRC request. If you are not configuring this policy, it cannot allow you to system to approve the request. But if you configure mitigation policy such that only critical and high level risks, it will filter critical and high level in the access request. It will consider and it will approve. So these are the support applications with respect to access the process ID, because we have only one global initiator. Whatever the additional features you need to add, you must configure or you must map to applications which is required to your process ID. That activity we will perform in this option, maintain mapping applications and BRF plus function.
So that function ID also need to be maintained in workflow, right, Krish? How it will get
No. Standard BRF plus application, it doesn't require this function ID. SAP has delivered, only we just need to configure.
No, where we need to configure?
BRF plus.
No, just open that one, for example, this function ID.
I don't think so. It was just, I have observed so this is a mitigation policy. So this is again, so you need to configure. This is a function. You need to configure. It is opening only function. This is a function, this is application, this is the data object. You need to configure here. You need to insert a data table, decision table for critical, high, medium, low level risk, right? But it has a loops. You need to configure so much of things. I have a different blocks for with me, so I will share that information with everyone. I will share that information.
No, that is okay, Krish. But just want to know, like, what is the, I mean, where it is linked in our workflow actually? I mean,
No,
is there any relation?
That's what. No, you are mapping right here. See, once you configure the complete data, you can you can map the process ID, whatever the process ID. You can map the same data.
So the upper two application you manually added, or it is by default?
Manually, we need to add. See.
Okay, we need to add manually. Okay.
Application ID, business function ID is there. You need to add process ID, whatever the applications you are using, which process ID you are using. So you need to add entry, and you can add it.
No. Still, one doubt actually, Chris. Suppose that there is request mitigation policy. If we not configure and if we configure, where it will make sense. Actually, I mean, where we can, I mean, where the data will get controlled through this setting.
See, as soon as you are mapping,
Mm-hmm.
once the request will comes to SOD, then it will verify. See, that is a complete internal logic. Okay, this is your application ID. This is your request process MSMP process ID. Okay,
Uh-huh.
as soon as request comes to SOD path, automatically whenever you are adding, the certain code or logic will trigger for the mitigation policy. This is where we will do mitigation only on the risk analysis page, right? SOD stage. There, this
Right.
policy will trigger, and internally it will checks. It goes to internal BRF plus this application, and whatever the logic you are maintaining, it will execute all the logic. Based on that, your results will populate. Then system will allow you to approve the request. That is a complete internal process. But the primary mapping, the complete logic you will maintain in the BRF plus. Primary mapping of the application will do in the SPRO. Which process ID you are using this policy. But this is not, even though it is a decision table, create a decision table, but you need to additionally insert loops. Why? Because there are, suppose if it is one role has multiple line items, right? Decision table. Maybe one role has 250 line items. Around 250 line items, some of them are low level, some of them are medium, some of them are critical risks, right? So it needs to go to verify each line item, whether it is a low, whether it is a high. For this, you need to create loop. First decision table. Additionally, you need to make loop so that it will verifies, it will complete starting first line to till 500 line, and it will validate the complete data. Then it will populate as per our configuration decision table. Only consider critical roles or only consider items. To process complete end of execution, you need to create loops like a normal coding. It is bit lengthy process, but I will share the blocks.
Yeah. Please share that blocks. And are we really using that? I mean, in real scenario.
That depends. It is not a compulsory requirement, but you can suggest to customer. So with help of this, you can create user groups. In case of user groups were not assigned, maybe you need to check the authorization as well. Also, there might be an issue in case during the provisioning, like a change request, you have submitted change request. A user test, GRC test user SU01, if user is edited, you are changing, you are assigning manually some user group or something to user. SU01 tab is edited for any particular user during the request provisioning. That time it won't provision. You will get an audit log error that user is edited by so and so person, provisioning failure. So even user SU01 edit change status also, it will not provision. And
Girish, in that case, what do we do, Girish? Do you have to resubmit the request? Or,
yeah, you need to resubmit the request. See, auto provisioning failure means mostly it will comes to security bucket. So we can re-forward to last stage probably. We can re-forward the request to last stage so that we can avoid the approvals. Since we have crossed all the approvals, since we are resubmitting the request, we can we can re-forward the request to last stage. So once that is approved, then probably it will provision. We will come out from the SU01 screen and we will re-forward the request, then it will automatically provision. So like this, there are various reasons for auto provisioning failure. So
Girish, re-forward you just said, right? Is it allowed in US companies or
which one?
The company, see, what I mean in US, right? All the companies, they cannot do that. They have to go with the, go to the, request again to create a new request. They cannot re-forward the request. Was there any rule, something like that for US clients? Or
no,
it's not like that?
It's not like that. It's not like that.
Okay.
That is, see, we can defend or we can explain the audit complaints. Everything will fear on audit complaints, and how we will manage with audit team or how we are understanding with audit team. We can define the process. See, instead of we are forwarding manually, there is a forward, right? Generally, why audit complaints will raise the concern means you are manually forwarding the request instead of system auto sending approval. That is where the concern will rise. So there is some manual activity. Maybe this person you are forwarding and he has approved and you got the access. See, generally auditors will think like that, right? That is the reason maximum they won't allow change access for any user administration or role administration activities without firefighter or any other tool. So that is the reason only we are configuring GRC, right? All the set of activities we are using tool and with compliance system to be in compliance, and all the users will assign appropriate roles without any SOD. Like they can misuse, and they may knowingly or unknowingly they can do the finance loss if they can do some access. So to avoid all such manual operations, we will use the tool.
So Girish, one more question regarding the log, right? So when I re-forward the request to the approver, will it be in the audit log, in that log, in that audit log for the request or not?
Yes.
It will be captured, right? In the audit log, because it is not, it's out of the workflow. Outside of the workflow.
Source will be either an audit log or and provisioning log, only the request provision and approvals, everything completed, then you can check. But SLG1 and audit log is the main source. First, you need to understand the issue. What exactly issue in the audit log? Whether the approver not found, or auto provisioning failure, or the user group or authorization issue, any of the thing. Make sure that you need to understand first audit log, then SLG. These are the two main sources.
Right. So my question is again, right, Girish? So see, the audit log goes with the workflow of what you set up. If something is failed, then only it will record, or even its process record. When you forward it, system does not know. Will the system put the log on that for that request?
No, definitely it will. You can mention the audit log. No? Audit log that this person auto provisioning failure in the security team currently. Then the security team person has forwarded the request to this form. Everything will be captured in the audit log.
Even the forward as well, right?
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Okay. Because
that is the reason companies will bother. See, they will check the complete table level logs, auditors, during the internal and external audit. They will check the audit log from tables and they will capture. They will take the samples, right?
Yeah.
They will ask the evidence on what reasons why this request has forwarded to this approver, and is there any incident? Is it appropriate? They will ask. Auditors will ask questions.
Okay. So as long as that that log is captured, you're fine in the request.
Yeah, definitely.
The forward.
It will capture.
Yeah. Okay. Because I never checked it, that's what I'm asking. So because I do a lot of delegation, when I do the delegation, I forward it, right? So I didn't because it's a manual activity outside of the what BMS and workflow. So if it is, if it is, recording, that's great actually. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
So this is how you will split the issue into a particular event. Based on that, we can start a trial and error on particular. We can say that particular movement. First, you need to understand the issue, whether it is a during the request submission failure, or whether the missing agents, whether it is missing notifications, or approve authorization issue, or it was not routed what we have expected, or we need to observe what is the behavior of the systems we have expected, and everything completed, the request was not properly provisioned. So like this, you can split the issue, first understand the issue and identify the issue, on what stage level the issue. Then you can try to fix it so that it will be very easy and you can do faster a solution. Hope this will help for your troubleshooting. Any questions?
Girish, can you show the SLG1 log, like how you get that information? We know that, but I just want you to go through once SLG1 logs. So if I come here, I put that.
See,
which user we have to put Girish here?
Name.
Yeah.
There are some different parameters like any transaction code related you are checking, or there are objects. Okay, first we'll go to that. Maybe this is a failure, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you observe the external ID, I think, see, this is completed test, but sometimes maybe GRFN something objects will be there. So either you can use the external ID with that GRFN underscore some object. That also you can identify. Or you can expand the log. So there you can check the data. So it was success. So it will first check the risk analysis. Start analyzing the system. It will check the complete risk analysis. So if any RFC issues, it will post the RFC issues, error in RFC.
I see. Okay.
So everything. So whenever you are checking the particular, and make sure that, see, this is very small, like a dummy system. Make sure that while you are checking audit log, based on audit log, you can check SLG1. The time frame. See, here you have selected the complete time frame by default. Maybe 10 o'clock to 10:30. So like that also you can check. Based on the audit log time in the system, you can give the particular time frame. You can execute so that you will not able to go through the till particular time and error message. Maybe you can select a particular time frame. That will helps you to take appropriate like a speed and appropriate window. You can also select the time frame.
So Girish, so SLG1 only for the GRC thing, or everything you can see it over there?
I have not checked ECC or any other system, but SLG1 is extensively used in GRC system.
Is used for everything.
Yeah,
right. It's used for everything.
Related things are captured in it.
as you can see on the middle portion, the user transaction code, you can do whatever you wanted to do. But for the, I think the audit log, the GRC use that one most frequently.
Yeah, I have any issues. First point of is audit log. Then if I am not able to understand audit log, then I will come to SLG1, then ST22. Whether we can elaborate the process of what is the issue. Then to understand the issue with the audit log and SLG1, then probably you need to go to ST22. ST22
And
is
another
very rare. ST22 maybe support pack level issues, like any bug or any issues, then probably it will do. ST22 very rare in GRC. Or any mass application, the program will not, suppose if you have submitted 30, 40 users, you said right, it will take time for risk analysis, then it will throw dump, mass maintenance, some dump. System cannot handle the data with this.
Data, yeah, exactly.
30 users, around 5 roles means it is around 150 line items. So it needs to check. So that particular time, it cannot handle mass maintenance because of system performance. That time it will throw.
Request or the user is in the request number in the GRC request.
No, is in
this
the
user.
Submit. If I have
who have submitted the request.
Yes.
Let us say I submitted my name, right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
See, if you observe here, the user ID who has executed in the GRC system. So that user ID is
required. Okay.
So any other questions?
Thanks, Girish. I missed first 3 columns, Girish. I'll design the doc video again. I was working on something else with the company thing. So
yeah, you can go through this and you can let me know any issues. But
sure. And Girish, you're sending the deck also to us, right? You said you're sending it. Is it already sent? I did not check the document.
No,
for
first.
I'm not sent. You did not send, right? Okay.